but death he never shows. I'd walk in the rain, but the sun keeps on shining. And where this ends, nobody knows. Everything's always tomorrow, till tomorrow comes out to play. Everything's always gonna be alright, but it's not gonna be today, not today. Just a close breathing in memory.
Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Sashry, and as always, but this time to my right,
Rob Mendiola.
what's up, Rob?
How's it going, Doug?
It's another day in paradise.
What day is it?
Today is Thursday.
It is Thursday.
It's a Thursday podcast.
I almost worked from home today, but didn't. Had a few change of plans. So had a lot going on, so I thought I'd go get into the office and get some stuff done.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how getting strung to a phone or a computer can keep you in one spot for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I was able to get out a little early so I can get here. Do some podcasting. Now we love that.
You got your priorities right.
I don't Don't worry, I'm sure I'll be back to work
Get back
right
door.
after this. Yeah.
Like I call him every Tuesday. Get that podcast up.
Yep.
Like my eyeballs start twitching if I don't see that email around midnight. I'm like,
Yep.
I'll wake up, and I'll see. Didn't say you'd finished processing. Damn
hey,
it, Rob!
But hey, we got like over 70 of them up so we're doing okay.
We've done okay so far.
Yeah.
So far. Now today, we're talking about a sensitive. I'd say it's a sensitive subject, but it's
Mostly,
something. Yeah, I like to. It's something that I like to poke the bear on, simply because silence is no good, and especially if you're close. But anyhow, first, before all that, let's welcome our friend Morgan. Hello, Morgan.
Hi.
Hey, and not
Welcome
my,
to the studio.
yeah, not my oldest Morgan, but
No.
Morgan.
We
yeah.
do share a name.
Yeah, just different color hair. That's about it. Yeah,
The same attitude, though.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
All
met
right.
her. She's cool.
All right.
So we got Morgan on the blue couch today.
Actually,
Joining
this is
us.
a really good couch. It's got this fluffy.
Ron and Debbie.
thing.
That's compliments of Ron and Debbie.
Is it?
Harris? Yeah.
Oh, she has great taste.
Yeah.
She really does.
Yeah, yeah. We. How's your day going today?
Outstanding.
Well, that's good. We will have a contest and see. I wanted to ask them who stays on the phone longer in the driveway, you or me?
Yeah.
Because I have a habit of doing that after the show.
Doug leaves and he's in my driveway for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's just because I don't want to text and drive or get my messages and drive. So I'm there clearing out everything I need to do before I leave.
We try to turn off all the lights to see if we'll make him leave.
Is
It
there like a
doesn't work.
prize, though, like for who is?
I don't know.
Because I'll camp out.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been trying. I hadn't got anything yet. So.
You might win some product.
Ooh,
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Hair
I'll
pro-
camp out.
But anyhow, we're here today to talk about a subject that usually people like ease around because they don't want to do. But the truth of it is, to me, at least from my 58 years living on this ball of dirt, is that when I see something, look, there's sometimes it's not close enough to me directly to where I can say something, but I will message somebody who I know is really close to a person. But if I see somebody struggling, we're talking about today about mental illness, and look, I take something for anxiety, and I've through some good therapy and some decent medication, I've learned how to balance the chemicals in my brain. I'll say this: I had a doctor when I was going through a divorce many multons ago. And, it's funny. That was around Thanksgiving of 2001. Which one? And then, and I would say around February, I just caught myself one day, and I'm usually happy-go-lucky. You got that 2% twinge of for a second in life, but I'm never like that. I was like that. I was for like that 98% of the time,
Yeah.
and 2% I had to smile like, wait a minute. this is not me.
It's not good.
This is not me. And I recognized it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go get some therapy because I think this is a really, because I don't want to feel like this, And so what I ended up doing was I went in, and I remember asking my therapist, and I asked him, I said, so do you have a magic wand? And the last day I was there, he reminded me I had said that. So I thought it was so funny. And I'll say this before we're going to get into myriad of topic angles at this, but to me, a therapist is really good. They don't, to me, they don't fix you magically, kazam. But what they do is they basically flip a full body mirror and let you look at yourself. And then you could see how you can deal with it. Because like I said, when he first told me, he told me anxiety was it was an irrational thought. I'm like, I got my hair on fire right now, and you're telling me anxiety is a rational thought that doesn't help me in the least bit. But it took a little while of that doctor, turning that mirror, and you see, doctor's healing you, but he's basically letting you help yourself, because at the end of the day, and we all have friends that are struggling with it, whether addiction or mental illness. At the end of the day, nobody can save that person with the exception of their self, whether they reach out to a friend, their higher power, a therapist. They're going to get there. They'll get help. In my faith, I believe God's left all these tools. And look, I've left this for you here and this for you here. Don't tell me I'm not here to help you. So it just, to see it, a lot of times when we're in so much pain, and the people in so much pain, they have so many tears in their eyes, they can't see all the love around them. And truly it is there. And it hurts. Oh God, I can't take that back. I had, I just thought about that. And see, look, I put that out of my mind. I had someone in my family, in the recent, within, I guess it was earlier this year. Look how my memory fades.
Yeah.
That this has happened. So, I mean, I just, and you never know. You never know when it's going to happen, and you have to be a person. I don't know, it's like the Death Star, there has to be that little hole where you can shoot that dart through. Something's going to get through to make that difference. But sometimes we don't know what that is. And
that's kind of the tricky part, is recognizing and
right.
knowing when to help or when to say something.
Right. There's been
or feeling comfortable doing it.
There have been some friends that are distant that weren't close enough for me to do it, that have done it. And older friends, like my parents' age, who was sick. I knew somebody that did, and it hurt because that person was such a sweet person, man. And I missed him. I loved him, man. God, when I was a kid, I remember this guy. My mom had grounded me and my brother for doing some smart ass shit like we always did. We're supposed to go to like we're probably 12 years old. We're supposed to go to the skating rink that night. Well, I remember this man came over with his son to pick us up, and she told him that, hey, we just punished, and it was nice because they were all friends. And then I remember he talked her out of it of some sort, but it just, like, he was always there for us as kids. And that stuff I never forgot. So when if you see somebody in your life that's struggling, and recently all of us, a bunch of us, and I wasn't that close to this person, but this person was always nice to me every time I saw it. But you see somebody swerving, and when's the point when you say, hey, stop, help? I don't know. That's the question, is you see him swerving and swerving and swerving. When do you stop and help? I had somebody really close to me last year. It was last year. Her addiction was so bad, and it scared me. I just thought that maybe she was just slurring her words or something. I had no idea that she was having the problem that she was having. And I reached out to her mom and her sister because I was scared to death. And I sent them the song, She Jelly Roll because like she saw herself as right, but everybody else can see she's falling and she's falling fast and she's going to be dead. And I don't want to lose this person. So I reached out to her myself and I don't know what it worked for her. You know, I know it wasn't me, but I know somebody in that group because there were a lot of people throwing, you know, some people are ugly when they do it. I say that, but you don't know what their relationship is to that person. This person made a mistake along the way, but I didn't want to be ugly about it, but I wanted to be blunt. And I said, you're going to regret this later on. Hey, I love you. Well, you're going to regret this later on. You're going to come back and I'll still love you, but you'll see that I'm right on this. And I just, because I wanted to shake her so goddamn bad and say, please come back. Because I don't want to wake up one day and have to go to a friend's funeral. I really don't.
It's probably like parenting. They say there's no perfect parenting. There's probably not a good way to, or a perfect way to bring that up with someone.
I don't know.
Yeah, we think
I don't know.
Are y'all?
That there's like a perfect fucking way to bring that up.
Because some
for
things
somebody.
work for some, blunt works for some, and blunt will probably be the opposite for some others.
I mean, for me, I don't give a fuck if I know you or not. I'll call you up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've got some really, really people that. Hi. Some people.
just
Miss
get on the
Spring
phone,
was
huh?
just raising her hand over here. She's over here allegedly. These people are now no names mentioned, of course.
Yeah.
Not at all, but these people are now like family to me, some of them. And some of them told me to go fuck myself, and that was fine too.
So you just get on
didn't
the
offend
phone.
me.
Like,
Or on the messenger thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What's the
don't-
worst? What's the worst they can tell you?
yeah, really.
But it's just like, hey, baby, you okay? You know?
Yeah,
What's
sometimes
that?
that's all people
That's
need, right?
just, you okay, baby?
Yeah,
You
because
okay?
look, what's the worst they can do is they can tell you go screw yourself, or they could live. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care. Go tell me to go screw myself. You know.
I really actually only got go fuck yourself like once.
Yeah.
See how sweet
And then
I
they
was.
like
saying that?
literally reached out the next
'cause
day,
they
so it was
probably
cool.
they probably want help, right? For the most part.
Yeah, but I was just offering an ear, and sometimes that's enough. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, sometimes it's crapshoot, man.
Yeah, that chink. What's that little chink in the armor? You know, can you even say that word anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's
Disclaimer: this show will
Yeah.
not be PC, and there have been trigger
Yeah.
warnings. Please read the disclaimer.
what's that little
Yeah.
space that you can shoot through? You know, and I don't know what it works for everybody, but don't ever, please, for God's sakes, don't ever be afraid of reaching out to somebody that you know that's in pain and they're really down. You know, I had a spot, another situation, not that one before I mentioned, but
We're gonna be here all day with Doug stories.
We are, I know.
damn.
Well, you have a lot to say.
and you know what?
Got some shit to say, man.
I did not. I was okay, but I just basically shut everybody off. I didn't want to talk about it. You know,
That's the good thing. Is now people are talking about it.
well, because I have asshole friends. They kept calling me and texting me, and then when that didn't work, guess what they did?
Just show
Yeah.
right up
They
at
came
your
to my
house.
door, yeah, and I'm glad that they did. But you know, in hindsight, but I was never in that desperate of a trouble. But just being down, you know, I like to force the issue with. But if I know that person very deeply, and I will speak from my heart on it, I'm not going to shit around about it. I'm going to be very direct. Because there's one thing I can't stand is when people kind of like pat on the back and like, yeah, like, no, that'll be okay is not a good advice. That's you're doing nothing. You know, you're blowing on a problem. To give something advice, wrong advice, right advice, whatever, but don't just pat them on the back.
Well, now with social media, the whole advice and opinion thing is like, it's like
Poof, I don't know
tsunami,
if I-
right?
Oh my God, yeah.
It can be dangerous, probably.
yeah.
I would think, right?
Oh yeah, there's so many fucking opinions. Yeah.
And some of them probably not great.
Well, no, but pick your. You know, everybody has a circle. You might have an outer circle, but then you have the people at far ends. Go to somebody who knows you, who's been around you. You know, if I show up at Morgan Dave's house 2 nights from tonight at 2 a.m,
I'll open the door after I take your money.
yeah, they may blink at me, but they would open the door,
fuck
damn
yeah.
up.
Oh,
But
fuck
if you notice people online, that they toward to gravitate like to the really, really negative opinion first, right? That's the one that's going to get their attention, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna get ugly.
Oh, yeah. We'll go there in just 2.3 seconds. And, you know, sometimes the advice is well meant. There could be more than one truth at a time.
Sure.
Okay. Some could say, do this, do this, do that, do this, do that, do anything. But healing is done through relationship, fucking period. That's relationship with self, relationship with others, relationship with something greater than yourself, whatever you choose to call that thing or the things you believe in. All right.
Yeah.
Isolation doesn't heal anybody
Right.
whatsoever. So I think it's just knowing somebody else is there. Does that make sense? Because I've
Yeah.
gotten that one too.
For sure.
Bitch, I don't know you. Well, I don't know you either.
Yeah.
How very interesting. Let's get to know each other. And 4 hours later, you're conversating, you know?
Yeah.
And now we do know each other. And now they do have a friend.
Yeah. That's crazy how it works, huh?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the negatives, what were you alluding to, Rob? Exactly. What were you bringing? I'm sorry I keep hitting the mic stand.
Yeah.
For the listeners,
Um,
that's me. I fucked up.
She's a popper.
I don't know. That's why I try not to give too many opinions and advice.
But you said they were
Talk up, goddammit.
Yeah, you were talking about on the internet and gravitating. Go there.
Yeah, I think
Because I'll go there.
I think we see a lot of stuff going on the internet. Well, not internet, but like social media, and you kind of recognize people are like going through ups and downs. And
Right.
you kind of see the patterns, right?
Yeah.
If you have that analytical mind, you can kind of notice these things happening. But then you also see like the opinions, and sometimes in reading what I'm reading, I'm like, oh my god, like you don't.
You
even
mean
wanna
the dog pile?
Yeah, the dog file.
No, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to say it. We're going to say mental health, okay? The brain's a fucking organ. It's like any other organ. We talk about cardiac health and
Yeah.
liver health and kidney health, right?
But
And
it's
blood
crazy.
pressure,
What's
but you
weird
can't
is like
say
some
mental
people,
health, the brain's
some
an
people
organ,
think
yeah.
that they have like a qualification to give a higher advice, on something so dangerous,
Yeah.
because in the end it could lead to not being there. Right?
Because the
can.
brain is so unknown. You know, I mean, it is.
Yes. It's the most complicated, unknown part of the body. We were talking about that, weren't we?
We were.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and,
And the one you use the most.
that's right. And
That is weird.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's I think that's why I always think if people know you really well and not just from afar, and I value the opinions of
But it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it gives you the opportunity to be engaged with people, but it also gives you the opportunity to be engaged with people. So, right? You kind of
Yeah.
you dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't go punch people in the eye on the internet anymore for saying ugly things. Yeah, I went there. Don't care.
So you're saying
Going there.
isolation is not good for you when you're, down and depressed.
no, I don't think it on isolation, darkness. No, I think it's just it's a tomb. I really do. And
But then how many people get affected by all the internet, all the social media stuff, all that attention?
I wouldn't.
It's like, it should be good, right? In theory, you'd think it'd be a great thing, but it brings a lot of people down too, I think.
Sure.
I mean, kids commit
Oh,
suicide
absolutely.
from just online bullying, right?
Yeah, I think that,
Absolutely.
Cyberbullying, I guess.
yeah, I think
Official.
that you have to. It's like it's years ago. I don't know when it was, man. It was in the early 2000s at least. I had to cut off watching any kind of news.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
depressing.
didn't because, well, I'd say news, but it's not really news because all it is opinion 85 to 90% of the time. When I was a kid, Walter Cronkite would read the news. He'd tell you this.
Yeah.
60
That's the
minutes.
way it
It's,
was.
it's not like that anymore.
No, now
I'm that
it's,
old. I love Walter.
now it's opinions.
Now it's all opinion pieces, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all, and all they're there for is to boil your blood.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm not playing part of that party, man. You want to do that? Go ahead and watch CNN, Fox. You go ahead, have at it. That's not going to ever be me.
Yeah.
You go ahead and piss all over your fellow man because of the, if we were all the same, just to get into that, it would be a boring place. But everybody is different. That's
And
why
I actually like going to different news and just seeing the difference, and it's like it's funny
yeah, but
how
all,
they push different
yeah,
things.
not funny. Ha ha. Funny,
Yeah, not funny. Yeah.
yeah, they just
Yeah,
all
that
these
kind of
people
funny.
all these people get triggered by that, and
Yeah.
and man, look, it's
But that's destroying like relationships, family relationships, to where you're having such a drastic opinion,
and it's so
one way or another,
goddamn
on how we're all supposed to
stupid.
be living.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because actually, people are the experts on their own self and their own life,
Yeah.
So maybe it's better just to let people know, hey, I'm here. What are we going to do? Right?
Yeah.
I'll help you. Correct. Instead of giving your opinion
because
on what they should do, because you don't live their life.
Yeah,
Fuck, I don't even live my own life.
The path you might suggest for them might be the most toxic or scary for them to go through.
Right.
Give them a little easy. Anything in life. If somebody tells me, especially somebody that's been through something, if I get
We've all been through something.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different experience for everybody. But if somebody tells you, hey, look, I've had a situation like this, and trust me, it gets better. And everything in life, if you just give it time, will get better. Even the darkest times, they all pass. They never last.
And like I've heard you say, Doug, you got to surround yourself with good people.
That's right.
I think that's like big, right? Big key, right?
Everybody knows me. I've told them before that I collect people.
He's a collector.
I collect people.
I know. Could you dust us a little more often?
I know, right?
I give you 45 minutes every once in a while, but that's it.
And then he's out.
And then I'm out. Poof.
And then he's sitting in my driveway for 45 minutes.
That's right. Answering messages and then moving on. But
I guess just let them know, I can't do the journey for you, but let's start and I'll walk beside you.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
But you can't stay here, baby. Right? You're worth more. You can't stay
And
here.
what do you think about reaching out? Like I said, if the person is closer to Spring than to me, so I would call Spring or message Spring and say, hey, can you check on so and
Oh, hell
so?
yeah.
And we do that.
Yeah.
We do that, actually.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we were worried about Frankie, and we said, man, screw that. Let's just call him and ask him himself.
Yeah, but then we all called him, and then poor Frankie's
I know. He's like,
God,
quit
geez,
freaking calling me, people.
fuck. Let me sleep. I
Yeah.
love that man.
Yeah. So, that's just,
But he's still here.
that's right.
I know. That
And
God is so
that's
good.
badass.
God is so fucking good.
That's the thing. I think reaching out is a big deal, and not just kind of because people kind of wonder and they'll talk and whisper. You want to know the facts? Just go right to the goddamn person. Stop pissing around and get right to it. Bottom line, what's it going to cost you? Nothing.
Well, sometimes it costs friendships.
I would rather
Yeah.
I would
That's
rather
okay.
I would rather it cost a friendship and that friend still be
Yeah.
alive or know at least one person cares.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that friend will come back later on and say, you know what, hey, I was just going through a rough time.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You know what? I love people enough to let them hate me for a while. That's fucking fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be alive to hate my guts. So, there's that.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's that.
That's a good theory. And I would rather be the stick, the poker, than the quiet one.
But gently. Gentle.
Like
Yeah,
like
look,
me asking somebody.
Yeah, because people are delicate, Humans
we
are
all
delicate.
are if we would
Yeah.
admit it.
Yeah,
Hey.
I think we all are.
Yeah, we all are.
My wife will tell you that I will go up to the person at Costco that has only a half arm and ask, hey, how'd that happen to you? Or the cop that's working the security thing and has a scar on his head. Hey, how'd you do that? Only to find out that he got in an accident, got his skull fractured. Oh, and then when it's fractured, they found out he had a tumor, so it saved his life.
Yeah.
But see, that you only find those questions out if you ask, and I will ask. Sometimes it leads into a big, huge bear trap, but it's it's just I got to know. I got to know every time.
And then you got to send them spice.
Yeah, usually there's the Catholic guilt will kick in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I thought you were reforming.
He's like,
I
okay,
am.
all right.
I am.
What's your address? I'll send you a box.
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
So what are we saying here today? What's our main mission?
Reach out, people. You got friends. You got people around you. I don't know. Do you think people reach out when they need
Not
to?
as much as they fucking should.
Not as much as they need to.
I'm sorry. Spring's whacking me on the foot. Can I say that Spring's here? Is that okay?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, like she's not like fucking.
She's our-
She should
She's
have got
our
a
producer.
She should have got
I
a
know,
mic if she
well,
wanted to say
she's-
something.
She's definitely producing. Okay. She's smacking me. So we were having a conversation and she was saying like, but sometimes it feels like people cry wolf, cry wolf. And I got a little indignant, not with her, just with that analogy. There's no fucking wolf. There is no fucking wolf. I'm clapping my hands. Okay.
Yeah, because we know we have all
There
heard
is
that.
no
We've heard that
wolf.
recently.
So the cry is for
And we
help.
don't know what happened.
Yeah.
If you're alluding to a certain person, we're not sure. But
Yeah,
that
but no,
doesn't
no,
matter.
no.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter that you
there
see
is
the
no
person
wolf.
the person we're talking about was in trouble. It doesn't matter what happened.
They say a person dies every 40 seconds from suicide. Is that
Something-
correct?
Yeah, something
like that.
like
700,000 a year.
There's no wolf. I just want to shove that in people's heads.
Yeah.
Well, they're just looking for attention. Okay, they're looking for attention because they're hurting. And if they're hurting, there's no fucking wolf.
Yeah, there's no.
There's a wound. I would
Yeah.
like to turn it into that people are crying wound
Yeah,
instead
that's a
of
good thing.
wolf. Why don't we do that? Wouldn't that be a lot better? Instead of, oh my God.
Constructive.
someone's-
Yeah.
Don't you think that
Realistic.
don't you think that situation though would have been hindsight? Of course, is so beautiful and so clear. But instead of doing the messaging and maybe pick up the phone, hey, let's talk, and make this a little bit clearer. But that person could be scared of that too, So you never know. But it's
Sometimes you feel like you look and you go, that person has a lot of friends around them, but then you wind up in there alone.
Certainly somebody's doing something, right?
Yeah, you think, yeah, somebody's responsible, but it doesn't always end that way,
But that's what we're here today. We're here to demand, goddammit. No, we're here to tell our friends, push the button. If you don't be
Because
scared.
we have a great group of friends. I think that we all
But a
kind of associate with
a
the music
beautiful
business.
scene. Yeah,
and
it's a
beautiful scene.
it's really extended. I mean, if you look,
Yeah,
there's thousands, and they're across the nation. And
Yeah.
how many people do they know, and how many people do they
and
know?
Doug
Right?
travels throughout the whole
What
U.S.
was that? And she'll tell two friends, and so on and so on. Now, Pred or Pearl or whatever the fuck's going to sue us, don't sue us. Disclaimer. Do you remember that? They'll tell two friends exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you have,
yeah.
like,
And let's talk about it because Doug talked about his. I'm fucking autistic. All right. I don't.
I thought you just drew really good. I thought there was an R in there.
Now, that's me. I'm artistic.
He's artistic. I'm autistic.
See, I get it mixed up.
I mean,
Wink.
but I'll say it, any place, anywhere, anytime.
I got tools.
You do.
Hey, to use those tools is $30 extra. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
And I get to video that. Allegedly.
We'll put that on
Moving
Patreon.
on. But just making people be open. I also have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have an ACE score of 9. Okay, which is crazy high. Yeah. Yes, and I deal with massive anxiety. Huge. And ADHD. There you go.
Anxiety is
And I
crazy.
am not what's going on in my head
Yeah.
at all. Does that make sense? But I will just tell, and y'all have seen me do it. My cheese is going to slide right off my cracker. And if I'm open about it, I hope that other people can be open about, because I'm not autistic. I'm not anxiety. I'm not trauma. I'm not that, right?
That's right. The
shit I
burgers.
deal with.
That's right.
Right?
I'm kind of glad I went through anxiety.
Yeah, I got the burgers. I got
After
the Asperger's.
after
She has
going
the
through the
Asperger's.
Gotcha.
in the hospital, I developed the anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that.
Sucks.
It
Huh,
was
bro?
it was so bizarre.
You know what's funny is my
Like-
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna literally die one day.
Yeah.
because I thought I wasn't getting oxygen.
Right.
And there was a tube in my throat, literally forcing oxygen in me.
Doesn't
and I
matter.
was writhing in pain,
Oh,
and there was no one
Yeah.
around. I thought I was literally gonna die.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then after like 2 hours of doing this, I finally figured out, well, if I was gonna die, I would have already died.
Yeah, but once that
'Cause-
fight, flight, that adrenaline pumps on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my
was
doctor
crazy.
said, so what okay, you would have died.
And then you're hitting
that's basically what he told me, yeah.
you're hitting the emergency button and no one's coming.
And well, they'll kind of do it too. But once that gas pedal gets stuck on like that, right?
Yeah.
It's off to the races, and it's
But
very
I dealt
hard
with
to
that.
stop
Dealt
it.
with that for a long while. It was,
My,
Oh, sure.
it was crazy, man.
Oh, it's horrible.
It
It's
is
unimaginable
feel
that
like you're
people
gonna stick to
live
the
like that with
ceiling.
for like constant.
Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna
That's-
stick me to the ceiling, get me down like a pinata.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
what I did was I learned how to not let it control my life. I made it my bitch. I was going to make it the other way around. It's like with my kids. No, look, when I go to a concert and there's a shit ton of people,
Yeah.
when I'm not backstage,
Right.
but when I don't have that right, I am on the end of an aisle. I'm on the front. I pick and choose where I'm going to be. Like with my kids,
Yeah.
I missed my oldest's graduation in high school. And you know what the bitch was? I'm going to make it up when she graduated college. Guess what? Guess when she graduated college? during fucking COVID. And guess what? We had to do it virtual. I was like so pissed.
Dang.
And I had a friend, thank God, Steve Page. He put together a big video. I did everything I could possibly do to make up for it because this was going to be my day. But no, I could never make that back up. But that was like some of the worst anxiety I'd ever had at that time. But
It's crazy, yeah.
I learned not to let it control me. I control it. And there's, yeah.
I don't even know how mine went away. It just naturally did, I guess.
Just did.
Yeah, luckily it did. Yeah.
Mine won't. It's part of the burgers and complex trauma in childhood changes the structure of the brain. So
I probably have
and the
some of that.
burgers and the burgers, okay, causes a lot of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
However, you learn to deal with it and cope with it.
Yeah.
But it's not going anywhere.
No,
It's my little friend.
I have friends. I have friends in the Dallas area that they have a young son that they adopted, and he's got Asperger's, so he had to deal with it. And then I said, "Wait a minute." The grandparents are worried because the kid would like have a tantrum fit. I'm like, "Look." I said, "It's okay." I said, "My friend Jeff Fowler, Aria, sings for the other lady.
Yeah, I love
you.
Aria.
You would never know that she has." But yeah, so like I'll call up and I'll say, "Aria, how you doing? How's the burgers?" So, but she learned how to deal with it. That's how we'll talk about it. But
I throw fits and I don't have any problems.
That's just you.
that's just you, man.
Yeah, that's just because you little.
I'm spoiled rotten.
You is I'm just spoiled.
But no, it's we hear, please reach out and talk to your
Are
friends.
more people in therapy, you think, now than what, like maybe 20 years ago?
I would love to commentate on that. I think it still needs to be a little more normalized for certain
You think
sectors.
still? Wow, we're still
For
trying to
certain
normalize that, right?
Sectors, I have people, and then I think it's also been kind of oversold commercially. Does
Yeah.
make
That could be
sense?
dangerous, yeah. I can see that.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to be really cautious here with what I say.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm taking Zoloft, which is citrulline. I'm taking the generic version of it, and for some people, that's not any good at all. For me, it balances the chemicals in my brain, and but it's an overtime release. I have Xanax. The only time I've ever taken Xanax in my life is two dentist appointments.
That just puts me to sleep.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I wanted it to do for me.
It just
Yeah.
makes me go to night.
Are we talking about therapy or medication?
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
thought we were talking about
No, we're talking about like the
It's part
over
of it.
medication and
medication
yes.
to manage
what
your
do you think?
depression
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
what do you think about? I think it opens a door. That's why I'll ask you now. What do you think about the tele-therapist and the virtual?
virtual therapy. Okay, I actually have read some scientific journals about that. I could give the information I found in those journals.
Yeah, what do you
and
think?
Also, Yalom is going to be another reference for people. This is not therapeutic advice. This is just shit that I read in the science journals. So,
Are they saying it
dissemination of
works?
information. Virtual therapy, telephone therapy, it has nothing to do whatsoever with the venue or if it's in person. What it has to do with is the therapeutic relationship between the therapist and the client and or patient, depending on what modality they're using. All right. Problematically, though, is that a lot of these things that you see where it's just, call up and you get a random person every time, there is not going to be a therapeutic
No,
alliance.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. If I could get the same one, I would be okay.
Yeah, because that's not, how do you form?
You build a relationship. You know me, I know you.
Because
Just
a lot
like
of
my-
trust has to be
Yeah.
involved,
Well,
right?
yeah.
I'll give you this. It's
absolutely.
like I told my kids on my regular doctor, our family doctor, that I go see the same damn doctor every damn time. He knows me. He knows if something's different. He can point it out right away. So especially, no, I guess just the same, but because there's no difference between heart disease and your brain disease. But
See, I got broke from that in the hospital because I had probably 200 doctors. So
yeah, well, I mean,
now I go anywhere and I'm just like, do I take my clothes off? What do you want?
Yeah, you've been
You
used.
just that
you've been-
anyway when you're not at the
I know,
doctor.
right?
Yeah, you've been used.
I wanna
and
do that
abused
at
by
Kroger's.
doctors. Yeah.
I'll pay you to do that.
He
at
spent
Kroger's.
he spent 3 months in a damn coma and 3 more months after. So yeah,
He can take his clothes off
Yeah.
anywhere he wants to. He's earned the right.
I'm
That's
like,
right.
what do you want me to do? I don't care.
Yeah, she's like,
but would you?
"Aye."
Yeah, I agree. Okay, now that you've said that, I see that. Yeah, from personal experience, that I've never done the telly, but you definitely build a relationship with
Yeah.
that physician, him knowing you.
Yeah, or the
like he could
therapist or
call
the
me on this
counselor,
because he
yeah.
knew when I was going to round a corner to try and maybe avoid something he needed me to talk about or something like that. Yeah.
Like
If
you're
you
not
change
calling-
it,
It's got nothing to
You're not
do with
calling
the
for
venue.
IT support, right?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. So it's got more to do. Okay, with that, and kind of, of course, there's a skill set for therapists, but
Yeah.
if you're just going to get a random person every time, that you're not going to build that alliance.
no, that's would be
And-
like it'd be like a drug seeker with switching doctors
and then
every
they
5
don't know
minutes.
anything about you either, so they're trying to like
and
all over again, trying to figure
yeah,
out.
that-
Do
and
any-
that's not a treatment plan.
Yeah,
Do
it's not.
any of those services offer same doctor?
I have no
I'm clear.
idea what those services would offer. I literally don't.
That's
Yeah.
a good answer.
You know,
Good answer. Good answer.
No, actually,
Family
it's-
Feud.
No, it's the fucking truth.
And the survey says,
Your service says I wouldn't have any idea. Nor
Time to play the feud.
So
No.
But
I
guess
can't
when you
make
call, like-
commentary.
but when you
either
call
way.
like the suicide hotline, that's just a random person, though, right?
Yes, but those people on that hotline, by the way, all those will be listed by our beautiful producer.
Cool.
All those numbers
On the podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
Do they direct you somewhere?
Well, here's those people
how does that work?
are trained. Those are trained crisis response.
Crisis.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, and they are there, to
And
make
at that
sure
point-
whatever services that person needs, resources gets to them. All right, and they are trained for that, and that's
If
not,
you're making that call, you're probably in
Yeah.
a pretty desperate position, right?
You don't. I don't think. I would like. I have an opinion. You want to hear my opinion?
Sure.
These are my opinions. They.
I would.
some of them
I'm
might
making
fucking
assumptions,
suck.
right?
Yeah, some of them
Yeah.
might suck, but they're my opinions.
Opinions of the-
I don't think somebody should feel like they have to be desperate to call that. If you're sitting there contemplating that kind of stuff, you're like,
Yeah.
that would be your cue. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Okay.
To holler at somebody.
Here's a scary thought for that.
Not just suicide prevention hotline.
Yeah.
You're
Do
saying call a friend or something.
Call a friend, call the hotline,
Do you
ring
call-
the bell, dude, ring the bell.
You call the hotline.
Yeah.
People, okay, tell our listener out there, I'm sure that the listener has a thought, well, if I call here and I'm scared they're going to drop a big net out of the sky, they know exactly where I'm at. Is there any truth to that? I mean,
Probably don't work that way.
no, I don't think it does either. But the person that's on a thing, they're probably scared and they're trying to maybe hide in the dark a little bit, and stay anonymous and kind of
Like if you're hearing voices, kind of thing.
well,
you're
no,
already
it's
kind
just it's very ambiguous.
of scared and nervous.
Yeah, of course you'd be scared.
Yeah, I'm
Of
sure
course
that's
you'd be
probably.
scared.
But they're going to give you resources, is what we're trying to say.
That crisis screener is trained to give whatever is needed, so I could not speak as to. I don't think they have just like a set whatever they're going to do. So
Spring-
definitely not going to comment on that because
Spring, you call tonight.
I'm not trained for that, but I do want.
Sit in that closet and call.
don't-
I
be
do.
calling.
I do actually want to answer that question though. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's not. It's not like back in the days where they used to literally, throw nuts. Or it's not. I would hope that person, would take whatever help was necessary.
It's a step.
Okay, whatever help is necessary, and those crisis workers are trained to figure that out.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? And I'm not a suicide
And maybe,
hotline
hey,
worker.
maybe
not
that-
trained for that, so I couldn't comment.
Maybe
I mean,
that's
it's a good service, though.
Yeah,
I think.
it's,
Yeah, in
it's
fact-
a wonderful service.
In fact, I think that's something that I might look into about getting to somebody that
that
that delves into that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
You know,
takes-
what? They would be more than happy.
we know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
That'd be a good
Montgomery County Emergency Service, Harris County's got.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
well,
I
get them in here and
I have
ask
some
them what
high,
happened.
I have some
Yeah.
low friends in high places.
yeah.
And yeah, but they I think it's a good idea because I think with anything, at least to me, especially the anxiety, Doug, if I talk to somebody who's been through something or been down a path before, it's a lot less scary. Like I said, the path will always
Yeah.
be different, but it'll be somewhat the same. So hey, it's not as scary anymore.
But I think it's probably better to have a trained professional
Yeah,
to deal with,
Yeah.
because if you got two people that are like the same, it's probably not a great thing.
Yeah.
Not always, probably. Not saying that it
If
wouldn't
you're
work.
thinking of taking your life, suicide. Let's just say it's suicide. We can say it.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of taking your own life or somebody else's, if you're feeling some kind of a way, right? Call him. Why be ashamed?
Yeah.
No,
Why be
definitely. I
ashamed?
think it's a good
has
service.
it never gone through anyone's head, even just that fast in this room? Like,
Oh, I think
damn,
everybody.
I wish
we talked about that
wasn't
the other
here.
day.
Yeah.
I think
do
everybody
you know what I'm
has
saying?
downs.
Probably everyone's had a moment where they're like,
yeah.
I think
just
what we
not be-
at
human nature, man.
I think in this age we're not very good at, like we were taught as kids, counting to 10 and waiting before we respond either to ourselves or to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's
But I think what's really important is like knowing when to get away from negative. Because if you're already kind of down, and then you're surrounding yourself with negative, it's like that's overwhelming, right? You start to feel that overwhelming.
But that's kind of or at least according to the CDC, because I'm not sure which incarnation I am here. So I'm trying to be very respectful of the show
you're doing good.
and all that. That's part of the problem, though. You see,
She
Well,
brought
what
is-
she brought printouts with
I
her today.
did from the CDC
What's part of the problem?
website. Part of the problem when you're having depression, okay, is the only thing you want to do is isolate, even though that's the worst thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The problem with depression is you're looking through the lens of depression. You see, you can't think to go to the positive. That seems contradictory at the time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does.
Yeah,
It does not.
That's me saying
That's
that
gotta
the
be
tears
difficult,
in your
yeah.
eyes are covering you can't see the love
That's
around
exactly
you.
yeah. That's exactly.
So a healthy mental would be like, go find something happy, right?
Yeah, or fuck this kind of
Yeah.
maybe
yeah,
I need to
Like this is not good.
you
I
can
need
phone
to
a
get
friend,
out of this.
phone a lifeline, right? But people have to understand.
I'm in the dark. I need to turn some light on, right?
Yeah, but when you're that depressed, clinically depressed, or something's gone catastrophically wrong or traumatized, there are so many different ways that somebody could get there.
For sure. Yeah,
So many ways, and there, for the grace of God goes everybody.
the world is a vampire.
And if we're gonna be, yes, it is.
But there's a
That's not how they think. And it's not because they're dumb or stupid,
Yeah,
or,
no,
or they're
absolutely
trying to cry wolf or whatever.
made
They
bad
can't.
decisions. It's there's an answer for everybody out there. At the end of the day, you're going to have to take these steps. But there's so many people out there that can show you paths and ways to get there.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I should be in TDCJ the way I grew up. You know what I mean? Should have been
Yeah, I hear you.
most likely to go to TDCJ or end up under a bridge. I'm not a perfect person.
Yeah,
Not at all.
that's Texas
No.
Department of Correction.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
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 I mean, you do live with a friend of ours that anyone living with him would be considered to be a resident there.
Yeah, true. Fucking Dave.
Dave's not here.
He's not here, man.
No, but you understand what I'm saying? From where I started to where I ended up, right?
Yeah.
If
But
I
that
can get
takes-
to the other side, I can. That doesn't mean I'm perfect.
But you had to do
everything's
that, right?
peaches and roses. I had
yeah.
to do that. People can reach out their hands to help, but if you won't just take their hand, then
Yeah, I will say I do notice a lot of people online saying, "Hey, call me. Hey, I'm here.
yeah,
Call me." I think that's pretty cool
I think it's fucking awesome.
for people to
yeah.
offer
Yeah,
themselves
look,
up like that.
if they say that, take their advice. I mean, like I said, what's it going to cost you? It'll cost you nothing. Cost you nothing to make that move.
Well, I think, if you look at it just like real pragmatically, maybe it's easier, right? If things already suck,
yeah, what
Right.
can go wrong?
How can it get any worse?
reaching out to somebody and trying, they already suck. So, the only possibility is they could suck less,
Yeah, that's right.
sort of thing. Maybe draw a line under.
That's why I always say
top
with the bottom, it only lasts a little while. There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah,
way to
but
go
it
up.
doesn't feel that way.
I
when
know
you're
it
there.
doesn't.
Oh,
No. It's just like the anxiety, the irrational. It's just an irrational thought. Oh, okay. Well, that, like I said, my hair's on fire right now. That doesn't help me until you learn.
Yeah, I hope I never go through anxiety again.
Well, look, I'm laughing
Holy
about
crap.
it now. So
I'm
Stuff's
only
horrible.
laughing about it because for me, it's not an irrational thought. It's a physiological thing because of the burgers.
yeah,
It's, so stimmy. Yeah.
yeah. So, would you like to give us some Would you like to give us some phone numbers, Spring?
I think we're going to do that on the podcast. We're going to have all that listed out so people can actually go
Oh,
see it,
okay.
and it's there. They can click on it. And,
Yeah,
you know.
there's a whole freaking underneath the podcast. If you look underneath the podcast, there's some really
gonna have all the
groovy
content.
words and shit. There is resources for free and low cost mental
We're gonna
health
put it
in
all on there.
Harris County, Fort Bend
Oh,
County,
that's
all the
awesome.
surrounding counties.
And no matter where you live, that this exists.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know, this
absolutely,
definitely
yes.
exists. And
all of that.
well, the only thing we won't have is we won't have the. Apparently, for this podcast, Spring has been signing the whole time.
Yeah.
That you won't be able to see this because this is an
No.
audio podcast, not video. Sorry, Spring. That poor woman. We'll drive her mental eventually. You'll be just like us.
Yep.
We'll get you.
Yeah.
I've been working on
yeah.
it for 27 years.
So kind of like, where do y'all want to go with this? I mean,
I don't know. We're just
today,
chatting.
yeah.
We're just chatting, man.
We're
Yeah,
just chatting.
we're just
Because I
chatting.
write a lot about it in my music.
Yeah.
You've written a little. Some songs have
Yeah.
direct meaning to that, right?
To that, yeah. No, not today. Everything's going to be right.
What inspired Not Today?
Suicide, actually. Yes.
Personal experience.
Numerous. One
Well, they're
when I
all-
was like 21, very close friend. My god sister, loved her so much. Jamie Lynn, shout out. Everybody knows, so I'm not, expressing anything. Love that little lion. And several other people. And also, when we're talking about reaching out, a friend did reach out because someone they knew, I think it was New York or something. And,
Remember the shame? Remember the shame that when we were growing up, the shame and involved with suicide and
mental, yes, and nobody.
And mental
could talk
health.
about
Was
it.
it shame? I don't even remember if it was like.
Oh, we did. It was
People just didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk.
no, I just don't. Like I said, I and a lot of people have. I give credit to Shine Down and Papa Roach and them who created these songs and
Yeah.
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
The last act he did before he killed himself. It's just that
That's when it makes it hard, like, to imagine them doing that when they have, like, it seems like they're sitting on top of the world,
yeah,
and
but
then they
you
still go to that space. You know?
that brain is
It's crazy, man.
brain is a beast.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it tends to run in families and can be multi-generational
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
I think it's in every family. I think there's no way it's not.
Because we're so inbred.
Yeah, we're all in.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, my family tree doesn't branch, but and Rise is about actually my baby cousin.
Wow.
That's about one in particular. So, yeah. But it does run in families, and there was a lot of shame and stigma.
Yeah.
And you didn't talk about, great auntie Gertrude. She had to go to the nervous doctor.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, the nerve pills. That
nervous
was
doctor.
the nerve pills.
Yeah.
The nerve pills were a thing I remember they talked about when I was a kid. In nerve pills.
Wow.
That was a Quaalude or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's don't get but you know what I'm talking about, right? They, hit everyone away, and it was such an awful thing.
Well, like I said, shine a light on it. Touch a friend. Reach out. Don't be afraid.
Yeah,
You have nothing to lose whatsoever.
yeah, nothing,
Yeah.
not a thing.
Well, apparently people need to reach out more because there's still a lot going on, still happening a lot.
And
so-
well, like I said, I think we'll try and expand. We've
Yeah.
already talked about doing more on this. We'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, and please do. I'm gonna just fucking do it, okay, guys? Because y'all invited me, and you can cut this later if you want to. If you see somebody struggling online, that is not your cue when someone's acting outside their character, okay? To dogpile on them. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
really not.
I usually do the opposite. I usually like just don't touch it
Yeah,
because you're like
yeah, that's not cute.
advice can be like super bad for
It could
if
be
you do the
super
wrong thing, say the wrong
bad.
thing.
Yeah,
Dominoes
'Cause
fall.
you never know how they're gonna take things. You know.
yeah. So if someone's
Yeah.
acting outside their character,
Yeah.
it's probably
It could be bad. It could be at a point in time where it's very stressful, and that's
yeah. And then it might be time just to shut the fuck up and not say anything.
Maybe let me turn
good
my
at that.
let me turn my computer off and go pick up the phone for a second.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. If they're acting outside their character or something like that. And that's not blaming anybody for any things or choices that other people make.
And look, I would call somebody
know,
and say, "Hey, look,
yeah.
you look so different tonight. There's something I hadn't seen. What's going on?"
What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, I'm not placing responsibility.
But then you
on
risk also
anybody
offending
that-
people too.
Well, I offend
sometimes.
everybody on a fucking
Oh,
daily
don't worry,
basis.
I'll do
so
it. Yeah, I mean, they used to it now.
I'm always afraid
I'm
to offend
Asperger's.
people.
I'm an Aspie. I offend.
Well, Rob
That's
is.
what I do.
We're friends. We're friends, and we're in a group. I'll be the one that asks the question that nobody should ask. So hey, it's all good.
I'm always like, oh no, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Excellent. I got to know.
He's a little neurospicy, I think, over there. I've
Yeah,
always-
I'm like okay, not knowing. It's like it's all right.
I gotta know. But
I know
I think
enough.
Doug's a little neurospicy.
Yeah.
I do. I think just a little bit.
anyhow, we've done what we've come here
Yeah,
for
thank
today.
you so much for
We want
having
people to
me,
reach out
guys.
if they need to, right?
Please do.
Yeah,
And like I said, we'll post. Thanks to
because we need everyone here.
Absolutely.
thanks to
we enjoy it.
Absolutely.
thanks to
We enjoy
Morgan
having
bringing us some good information that
Yeah.
that Spring will throw up on the site about this and.
Yeah, and we'll be having something in September. I think did I mention it to you?
Yes, I
Yeah,
know
that's
about
coming.
it. Yeah.
Coming in
And
September.
we will participate in that in some way,
I
shape, or
want
form.
y'all please to
What is
do
this?
so. Be Unmasked Therapist. It's going to be mental health, music, and real life shit. And it's actually going to be titled that way. And so when you asked to do this, I was like, kind of funny you should mention that. So
And what is this? Is this a show or?
podcasts,
Oh, okay.
YouTube website, and the Tiki Talks.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, co-host going to be Rick Stewart. You know Rick Stewart, right?
That's right. She's starting her own podcast.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't trying to pimp it for that reason, but
No, but what's the
So
name
you're
of it?
starting your
The
own.
Unmasked Therapist.
Yeah.
Unmasked.
Okay.
I think I got .com, .org.
Well, we don't want to.
.net.
We don't want to say the unmasked other way to pronounce that last word, huh?
No. Oh, no.
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 It's not that.
So that's cool.
So
I
that
didn't
kind
know
of a
about that.
show. And Rick Stewart is going to be co-hosting. And we
Good.
would love to have the Nonsense Chronicles, including Miss Spring, right, to come.
Good, because
As-
I'm crazy.
as well.
I'll bring it.
Yeah, bring it. But, we were kind of already going there, so I was really excited to come and do this.
Cool.
with
Very much
you
so.
all. Yeah, so thank you.
Welcome to the
very
family.
much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
This has been the Nonsense Chronicles. Please like,
And
subscribe.
boom. Later.